Okay, so I feel like this video has been a long time coming and I just need to get a lot of things off my chest because what I discuss in this video will shape a lot of the future content that's to come out here on the channel. So to put it simply, the title is correct. I am autistic. And with the future of this channel, I aim to raise acceptance amongst the online community and spread the truth about what autism really is, separating fact from fiction. As some of you may know, I've done a lot of work to promote acceptance and awareness before, with my charity Twitch streams to raise money for the National Autistic Society during Autism Acceptance Week of last year. I did 3 live podcasts during the month with Indy Andy, Connor Ward and Says Francis, and in the end managed to raise an amazing £300, which was extremely overwhelming. But that still isn't enough for me. I still endeavour to do more for the autism community. Of course there'll be periods where I'm raising money, but raising acceptance is the most important thing to me. Okay, so to start off, what actually is autism? The National Autistic Society describes autism as being a lifelong developmental disability which affects how people interact and communicate with the world. 1 in 100 people are on the autism spectrum, and there are around 700,000 autistic adults and children in the UK alone. Down below in the description, I will leave a link to an amazing 2-minute video from the National Autistic Society, which explains autism in an easy to understand way. I'll also leave a link down there to the National Autistic Society website. A lot of the information I provide within this video will just be me relaying information from the National Autistic Society, although I will also be providing my own thoughts and stances. One of the main things I want to highlight in this video is that every autistic person is different. I feel like a lot of the time the truth about autism gets clouded by the stereotypes that it's portrayed by, completely categorising every autistic person, particularly around younger and less mature people. A lot of us do share similar difficulties and challenges that affect us throughout life. A lot of those being social, communication and sensory based. For example, I struggle quite a lot with social interaction. Holding eye contact and understanding facial expressions has always been a challenge to me, but it's something I've had to learn to cope with on a day-to-day basis as it's part of who I am. Of course it does make socialising with people and making friends more of a difficulty, but I've managed to find my own way of doing things. Repetitive behaviour and struggling with unexpected changes are just another couple of things to add to the list. For example, even just a small change throughout the day, whether that's a lesson being cancelled or a bus turning up late, can completely throw off the rest of the day. It can be extremely distressing and anxiety inducing. I know that when I come across unexpected changes throughout the day, I can become very stressed and on edge, affecting my attitude towards other people and tasks I participate in throughout that day. One final thing I want to discuss is sensory overload. This doesn't affect me as much as it used to, but once again, it's common amongst autistic people. Noise, smells, touch and bright lights are just a few things that can cause sensory overload. This can be very overwhelming and could result in us having to remove ourselves from many situations. It can be painful and can result in meltdowns for many of us. This is why autism hours throughout shops and other places are very important. They simply allow us to do the things that sensory overload doesn't let us do regularly. As I've already mentioned, sensory overload doesn't affect me as much as it used to, but when you compile it with everything else I've mentioned, it can make the world an extremely distressing place. A world that works for autistic people is very much possible and in sight, but we need people's help in order for it to become a reality. We need people not just to be aware that autism's a thing, but accept the realities of it, and it's very important that we are accepted into society and not seen as abnormal. And as pointed out at the start of the video, with my channel, I aim to play my part within that, educating the online world and hoping that one day there won't be so much of a stigma around talking about autism or any other conditions and disabilities for that matter. Thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.